Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Are you guys hyped? It's the day. We're going back to court. We're in the middle of an investigation to figure out who is responsible for the bombings of the courthouse as well as the bombings of the Space Center. We have a full-on... I don't know if you can use the T word on YouTube. Probably not. I'm not monetized either way, so I don't know why I worry about it. The point is, we've got a bad guy. We got to figure out who it is. There's so much going on. We met Blackwill's sister yesterday. I love her, but she also intimidates me a little bit, and maybe she's possibly the bad guy because she holds a lot of resentment towards the law, towards the legal system, I guess is a better way of putting it. Also, let me get my hellos in order. Phoenix, good to see you. Mad Cats, Cosmetology Corner. How was my weekend in Toronto? It was nice. I did go to Toronto for a friend's birthday. It was like a James Bond theme kind of birthday. It was at a formal event. I very rarely dress formally, and I had to scramble at the last minute because you guys know that the only suit that I own looks like Phoenix Wright's suit in that it is navy blue, but the color scheme for this party was supposed to be black and gold. So I had to run out and try and get a waistcoat last minute because a waistcoat would be, in my brain, easier to wear being not as properly fitted to my body as a suit jacket, which there was never going to be time for me to get a fitting done, nor would I have wanted to have bought a new suit jacket just for a birthday party because that would be expensive and a little bit ridiculous. But I had fun nonetheless, and I did channel my inner Apollo Justice. I felt like my boy Apollo when I had that waistcoat on my body. And now I'm thinking, for Halloween next year, I want to start the idea in my brain. I might need to try and keep my eyes peeled for a red pairing of dress pants and waistcoat that I can use, as well as finding a nice, like, cyan-colored tie to complete a more thorough aesthetic of Apollo Justice to be him. Anyways, Jacob Welsh, Steven, Breezy, Dogface, Magic Dog, Jason, Entry Hazard, Damian Thomas, and the rest of you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know you're all excited to see where this case goes. I'm excited too. I believe the witness today is going to be Yuri Cosmos because that's what Aura Blackwell told us. Well, actually, that's what we told her. Somebody told us that Yuri is going on the stand. We know that Yuri is going to be the witness. I have a hunch he's not going to be a super reliable witness. I didn't get the best vibes from him. So I don't know what to expect from this court. I'm hoping that something, at the very least, will get some kind of information that will escalate the plot a little bit because I need to learn a little bit about what's going on here. Who our mysterious bombing phantom is. Alright, it's December 20th, 10:15, District Court, Court Room number 5. I mean, to be fair, we know that the bomb in the courthouse was actually, Ted Tonate. But I still am not fully convinced that Ted Tonate could be the big bad. I suppose he could be. I just feel like that would be anticlimactic. I feel like he's part of a bigger conspiracy. Alright, day 2, court is now in session. Let's see what I can do. I'm ready, Your Honor. I wore my best...
I suppose we should reconvene for the trial of Solomon Starbuck. Or something.
Objection!
Yeah, I'm sorry, what? Your Honor? Can you please come out from under your bench? Oh no! My boy's a little bit scared. That's fair. I mean, is this trial happening literally the next day or two after the bombing? He's probably on edge a little bit. There are no more bombs. I promise. Alright, I'm calling it now. I think there's gonna be another bomb.
Yes. My apologies. I suppose I'm still a little jumpy when it comes to trials involving bombs. I mean, first the courtroom exploded. And then that man's face, oh my god, it just blew clean off. He self-destructed, Mr. Tonate.
Yeah, I guess that's one way of describing what happened.
Anyway, It seems that Mr. Justice was seriously wounded by Mr. Tonate's actions. So you, Mr. Wright, will be taking up the defense. Do you have an understanding of what has happened in the trial so far?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense is ready.
Very well. Is the prosecution also ready?
Hi, Blackwell. You're looking dapper as ever.
Yes, I take it you'd like me to give the opening statement again.
Looks like the judge has become pretty open-minded. I mean, a pretty good mind reader. I guess both of those work the same. Sorry, boss. I've been drinking last night. Well, he's certainly seen more than his fair share of colorful prosecutors. You could say he's something of a veteran, of sorts.
Let's see. In the previous part of this trial, we learned that the victim, Clay Terran, escaped from Launchpad 1 carrying the defendant Solomon Starbuck. There were explosions on the second floor of the Space Center and on the rocket itself. The two astronauts used the Launchpad 1 corridor to reach the boarding lounge.
And
how could the victim climb down the ladder if he was carrying the defendant? That was the mystery that's needed to be solved. But Mr. Justice proved that the victim was killed in the boarding lounge. Prosecutor Blackwell, were you able to discover any new facts pertaining to this case?
Upon further investigation, we discovered an oxygen tank fragment in the lounge. Surprisingly, it would appear Justice Dono's argument was correct.
So that means the testimonies of the first two people on the scene are suspect.
There are two people who claim to be the first on the scene. But can we truly trust their statements?
Let's see. The two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think one of them might have given a false statement to the police?
It's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. Yoshi! Salutations, it's been a bit since I've been able to join in. Happy to have you here. Anyways, just as our team was about to cross-examine Detective Arm, the courtroom bombing incident occurred, and the trial was put on hold. That accursed fellow killed my witness. He killed Detective Arm.
He definitely put the kibosh on anyone asking about her what she saw.
Exactly. In other words, the question of who killed the victim in the boarding lounge has once again become the main focus of this trial. It's obvious Prosecutor Blackwell still thinks it was Mr. Starbuck. Fulbright said that Blackwell has a thing against the astronaut. Nevertheless, the defense argues there was a third person in the lounge, and that's who killed the victim. To make such reckless claims in court takes a bold man, or a stupid one. There was no third person in the boarding lounge, or have you already gone dotty? Old man.
Objection!
Objection! I am a young 31 years old, I think. That might actually be very incorrect. I can't dictate my own profile, but I think Phoenix started... Hang on, let's do some fast math. 24, 25, 26, I think was the original trilogy. Then he took his 7-year break. So what's that? 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Okay, he's probably more like 34. Maybe 35. Men, though, get more dignified with age. Alright, we're not like women. We don't expire. In any case, Mr. Starbucks claims he saw someone leaving the lounge. Furthermore, a Space Center employee also saw a suspicious figure at the scene.
Oh, I saw a third person.
Frankie, did you hear that?
I see my sister has been running her mouth. That's right, your sister. Lovely woman, actually. Although she seems to have a little bit of a bias against the justice system. I almost forgot that Aura's Blackwell's sister. Men ferment, dogface. No matter, she didn't see this mystery person's face clearly. Therefore, there is no evidence to indicate that this person was not the defendant. I guess the possibility that the figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there. In brief, we need to determine if a third person was there or not. To this end, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people on the scene.
Director Cosmos, huh?
Very well. Bailiff, bring the witness to the stand.
Oh, God. Hi, my guy.
Oh, I believe I've seen you in the newspapers before.
Not this man bringing his Segway into the fucking courtroom. Jesus Christ. Your Honor, I object to this.
Of course you have. Of course you have. I am Yuri Cosmos, director of the Cosmos Space Center, which it was, of course, named after me, Yuri Cosmos. Don't you have anything you wish to ask me?
Looks like he's all geared up to do some bragging.
7 years ago, I successfully launched the Hat 1, and...
Everyone already knows how brilliant you are. Even I'm trying to hold back tears at seeing such a great man stand before me. So could you please proceed directly to your important testimony?
Ha ha! I see this young fine lad has a proper appreciation for greatness. Then allow me to begin my epical testimony that will be recorded in the annals of history.
I think he means annals.
The speech of Prosecutor Blackwell's just now, it sounded more to me like he was poking fun at Director Cosmos.
It's probably for the best that it sailed right over his head.
Now then, Director Cosmos, the condensed version of your illustrious testimony, please.
Oh my god, words. They're tough. Alright, what you saw at the scene. Alright, hit me with your best lies. Don't worry, I'm a professional here.
Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together. We went via the control room and peeked in there to see what was going on inside. We saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge, and Taryn lying on the floor. I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck.
Objection, that's speculation.
I see. So, in your testimony, you claim you arrived at the scene, and after the two had escaped from the launch pad to the lounge, and just after the victim had been killed. Oh, the horror, the humanity! But what I said is what I saw, and what I saw is what I said. Courageous action to take in the face of such terrifying explosions, wouldn't you say? To save my men, I went personally into the epicenter of danger, risking my own life for theirs.
Well, what do you know? It sounds like the director really cares about his men.
Yeah, I really care about my men. It sounds more like he was scared and just had a peek from far away.
Is the defense ready to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor, I am. Director Cosmos' testimony is pretty vague, so I guess I'm gonna have to press him and draw out more information before I do anything else. Sounds about right for me. Alright, we're gonna press everything, my boy. Keep your Segway on. Rush toward the boarding lounge together, you say. Where were you coming from?
On the 6th floor. We were making sure any stragglers made their way to the 4th floor. It was then we heard about Starbuck and Taryn, and hurried to the 3rd floor lounge. On my galactic scooter here, of course.
Why do you keep calling it galactic? Does it have anything to do with space?
Of course! It's specifically designed to be used on galactic battleships.
I see. So, does it work in 0G too?
Sadly no. with the current state of the technology as it is, I'm afraid it just wouldn't float and be galactically useless.
Oh, what a galactic bummer. What are we talking about? Judge, can you keep me focused here?
I see. So you rushed to the boarding lounge on your space-age pogo stick. And when you got to the scene, what did you see?
Went via the control room and peeked in to see what was going on. Alright, we'll press that. Let's see. According to this diagram, you didn't have to go through the control room to get to boarding lounge 1. It looks like you could have gone there from the southern corridor as well.
Yes, but in haste, Detective Arm rushed ahead of me toward the control room. All I could do was merely follow behind her.
I see.
So we peeked into the boarding lounge from the control room door, and we saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge.
Hold it! So, you couldn't see who that figure was clearly, or what they were doing. Ew, this photo is terrifying.
Sadly, the only thing I could tell was that it was a person, standing motionless.
Oh, motionless, you say? That's interesting. The defendant, no doubt, staring aghast at his deed. Whatever explanation is there. Ugh. I'm so close, but without evidence, I can't prove the person's the third party.
I don't relish in this. And I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Solomon Starbuck.
Aura Blackwell also saw a suspicious figure in the lounge, but she gave the statement that it was too dark to see the person's face clearly. Did you see the figure's face?
No, not clearly. The lighter they were holding illuminated the area around their feet at the time. But other than that, I could see little else. That's why I could see Taryn, but I couldn't see who the other person was.
So, for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck. Isn't that correct?
I would like to believe that. Starbuck isn't the type of man to be capable of murder.
Objection!
Hey, that's great! When the witness entered the boarding lounge, there was no third person there. How do you know? Isn't that correct, Great Space Director?
Yes, that's right. Only Starbuck and Taryn were there at the time. After we peeked in, the lounge suddenly went dark, and the figure vanished.
You mean they disappeared? But that's odd.
Objection!
Why? The reason the figure appeared to vanish is because it was the defendant. When the witnesses weren't looking, he fell to the floor and feigned unconsciousness. Alright, hold on. Director Cosmos, did you ever take your eyes off the scene?
Only for a brief instant. About as long as it takes for a shooting star to go by.
If you took your eyes off the scene, then this third person could have escaped during that time.
But what escape route could the person have used?
Not the judge and Yuri Cosmos being the same person. I'm so sorry. The direction opposite the control room. The southern door to the elevators. There's no security lock on that door, so it would have been possible to escape that way.
Objection!
Hey! Good thinking. All things are possible, right, Dono? The real question is, do you have any proof? Well, maybe. I haven't looked at the court record yet. Like, you know, like a professional lawyer. If we're merely talking possibilities, we could each profess whatever we'd like. Well, I mean, you do that all the time. An inmate who used to be a university professor and lunar researcher used to say that there is a kingdom of little green men who live under the surface of the moon. As long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon for what we've done to it. Well, I mean, the moon's one thing that we haven't done too much to. We have to destroy our own planet before we can go to the moon. But I say, where's your proof that this quaint kingdom exists?
He's calling your theory a work of fiction, boss.
And he's right. I don't have any proof yet. Still, the southern door was a possible escape route, so I better make a mental note of that. Director Cosmos, may I ask you a question?
Yes?
Why did you look away from the boarding lounge?
Ha ha! There's actually another tale of bravery behind the answer to that. It was when Detective Arm saw the figure and raised her gun. Being a great humanitarian and protector of mankind, I tried to stop her.
What? You're saying Detective Arm raised her gun as soon as she saw the figure? That doesn't make sense. Let me remove a sex bot in my chat, please. Pardon me. It's getting aggressive over here.
Yes, I imagine her instincts as detective told her that they were the killer.
I don't know about that. That sounds more like faulty police work when you can't see somebody clearly and you decide to blindly fire your gun. I mean, it happens. It happens a lot. But Detective Arm, we're hoping that she's not one of those. So, were you able to prevent Detective Arm from firing her gun?
I'm afraid I was too late. I was unable to stop her. She identified herself clearly, and then she fired 2 warning shots at the shadowy figure.
2? That's an interesting statement. We have evidence of 1 warning shot, because we have the 1 bullet hole.
This information about the detective seems important. Please, add it to your testimony.
She fired 2 warning shots at the figure. Do I have evidence to contradict that? Let me take a look. A single bullet hole was found in the boarding lounge. The bullet itself is missing. This might be it. A single. They're very specific about it.
Objection!
There we go. Are you sure that you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing?
You doubt my words! Words that somebody will be written down in the history books.
Somehow, I don't think those exact words are going to be written down. Not in any history books.
Mr. Wright, could you explain yourself so that we can all understand?
You say that Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, and yet, only 1 bullet hole was ever found at the scene.
What?
Only 1 bullet hole would mean that the gun was only fired once, and yet, Director Cosmos is saying that Detective Arm fired 2 shots. No editor would allow such a glaring contradiction into a history book. Spencer's writing the book. Unfortunately for you, the witness's words are true. We confirmed that 2 shots were fired from Detective Arm's gun. But there was only 1 bullet hole at the scene. Where'd the other bullet hole vanish to? Ah! You should know the answer to that already. I should. During the previous trial, a certain oxygen tank was presented as evidence. Oh, shit. Damn it, that makes sense. Because we know an oxygen tank was blown up. I mean, did anybody analyze the oxygen tank? Do we know? Like, you should be able to tell. Well, maybe that's what he's about to tell us. It appears the thing that ruptured it was a bullet. A bullet that was found near the tank, to be precise. This bullet was fired from a .38 caliber gun, the same caliber as the detective's gun. Wait a second, that's different from what I remember. We're looking for a smaller gun. Are there multiple guns? Oh, this is gonna get so confusing for my little brain. What? Oxygen tank data updated in the code record. The rifling marks also match up. There's no question that the bullet was fired from Detective Arm's gun. The rifling marks, eh? Did you know that the rifling marks are kind of like the fingerprint of a bullet? It's a classic Ace Attorney lesson. Oh! Oh, God, I could write this shit by this point in time. I knew it was coming.
Rifling marks. Oh, those are like a gun's fingerprints on a bullet. Isn't that correct? And examining the rifling marks on a bullet can tell us the gun it was fired from.
One of the bullets the detective fired found its way into the holographic image display. The other bullet came to a stop near the victim's oxygen tank. The evidence confirms the director's statement that the detective fired 2 shots.
My beautiful contradiction. Gone. And to another goddamn lesson about rifling marks. So, that bullet hole was from a .38 caliber gun, huh? I should probably update that in the record.
Yeah, that's gonna be important.
Very good. Now we know the fate of both of the shots fired from Detective Arm's gun. Mr. Wright,
Does that clear up all your questions? No, it does not. Not even a little. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. One hit the holographic display and the other hit the oxygen tank? Does that really clear up everything about what happened at the scene? No, boys, we got a big old fat, thick, juicy contradiction. Your Honor, it doesn't clear up anything. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots from a .38 caliber gun, but that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence we found at the scene. A piece that points to the existence of a third person. Oh.
very well. But it won't do to keep us waiting, Mr. Wright. What piece of evidence suggests the possibility of a third person at the scene?
Not this one.
This one.
And what is this medal supposed to be?
Just a little something of great importance we found at the crime scene, Your Honor. You found it where? In a floor gutter. At the crime scene. It looks like the police and prosecution both missed it. What are the odds? Furthermore, this is a 10 caliber bullet, making it much smaller than Detective Arm's .38 calibers.
Oh! And that means...
Exactly. One more person must have been there in the lounge. A third person who had a gun that could fire 10 caliber bullets. Oh my god, Director Cosmos, he's kind of short without his segue. And if that's true, it explains why Detective Arm fired warning shots. This third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun, and in return the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
Ha! Oh, it looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us. Huh, what's this now?
Wow. So wait, why was he lying about that? What? You never breathed a word about any of this to me before.
Ha! Well, all great men have a secret or two, don't you know?
Yeah, doesn't it suck when your witnesses don't tell you everything, Blackwell? Welcome to my world. Foolish old geezer. So, Director Cosmos really has been hiding the presence of a third person all along. Director Cosmos, I want you to testify to the court about what you really saw.
You may be a great man, but in my courtroom you are just another witness. You won't receive special treatment here. Now, please, give accurate testimony.
Something tells me this isn't going to be very accurate.
I, Detective Arm, and I rushed to the control room together. In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and tearing on the floor. We were still in the control room to the east. That's when the figure fired at us. Well, given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered it,
Does this mean the person who fired the gun? Ooh. No, that was not correct. Judge, I'm losing you today. I can't find you. It's because you and Cosmos are too similar.
court is now in session. Does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant?
Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely, as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door, the one that didn't have a security lock.
Objection!
What, wrong? Double-edged swords are a tricky lot. Mishandle one, and it is you who is cut down. I beg your pardon? Your reasoning could apply if Space Boy were the killer as well. Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the 10 caliber gun. Detective Arm would have responded by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to invent the possibility of a third person.
Objection!
But Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun in his possession when he was found by police. Nor has a gun been found at the crime scene. Angel H! Hi, first time I've been able to catch a live stream while I've been getting over the virus. And a bad internet connection. Oh no! Well, I hope you feel better soon, and I hope that your internet connection hangs on long enough for you to learn who our murderer is. Its absence can only be explained if there was a third party who took it with them. How is that objectionable? Recall the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. God damn it! The defendants could have simply thrown the gun down the chute. Well, did you check the trash? Did you find a gun there? Yeah, object to that. But you can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving with the weapon. It's up to you to prove that possibility. No, it's not! God damn it all! I'm the defense! You're the prosecutor. The burden of proof is on you. My job is to prove plausible deniability. Reasonable deniability? Reasonable doubt. That's the word I was looking for. All I have to do is say that you can't prove that my client did it. Ugh! Fuck off, Japanifornia. And I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence. What evidence? The detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, naturally. The most compelling piece of evidence of all that tells us he is the culprit. Oh, that piece of evidence. Yeah, I did forget about that. Your boldness. Look how deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine.
Wow! He sliced our third-person theory to ribbons, and then served it to us. Just like that.
Yes, well, I have a question of my own, actually. That bullet that the mysterious figure shot, what did it hit exactly? It hit me.
Oh?
Well, does that mean you're a
Ghost? I was wondering when you would realize it, your boldness. Is that why he needs the segue? Director Cosmos is an authentic, bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls. Wait, what?
Oh!
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell! Shame on you for teasing nice old gentlemen!
Your boldness, it was all in jest. Please, show yourself again. Oh my god, Prosecutor Blackwell. He's really, like, you know, got a side hustle as a stand-up fucking comedian in this courtroom. He makes a lot of jokes for someone so ornery.
Are you sure? In that case, how did you manage to survive being shot? Ha! I'm glad you asked. It was a miracle befitting a great, history-making figure such as myself. The bullet hit my glorious Medal of Honor whereby it ricocheted, thus saving my life. Oh, really?
That's very convenient. But that's unbelievable.
I have to check this out. Wow! Look at that. There's one extra Yikes star.
The odds are literally astronomical. I guess it really was a miracle.
It's beginning to really feel like the Cosmos is watching out for Director Cosmos.
Yeah, talk about a lucky guy.
Why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos? A great man such as myself has to hide things on occasion, no matter how much it hurts. It's the plight of the truly great. It may be hard for this generation to understand.
I don't know. It sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding?
Well, let's just cross-examine him and see what we can find out.
Now then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Don't worry, I'm on it. What I really saw at the scene. Alright, so they rushed to the control room together, right? In the lounge, we saw the figure standing in the middle of the room and Taryn on the floor. Alright, well, why don't we follow... Let's just press everything. Alright, we've already heard about that part. Do you have any new information?
Well, let me see. If you have an hour or two, I could really tell you all about the Hat One miracle.
We already know about that too. Please, can you tell us anything about the incident?
I see. You want to know about incidents? Well then, let me tell you about the many incidents that made me the man who I am today. Yes, if you have the time, I will tell you all about the upbringing of this great man.
You've told us about that already as well. What we need is your testimony. Oh my god, this is getting us nowhere.
Should I already tell you about my upbringing? I don't really recall doing that. Director Cosmos, could you save your blissful...
So what did he say? Boastful tales for later. I can read. Alright, they peeked through the control room door, and... what happened? Saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and Taryn on the floor. Okay. But it was so dark you couldn't see this figure's face, isn't that right?
Yes, the room was deep and dark, as outer space itself. Speaking of outer space, during the Hat One launch 7 years ago, there was this man, and
If it's about the Hat One miracle again, you can saw it off and tell it to a stray mutt.
Excellent idea. No reason why the animal world shouldn't hear of my greatness.
And so they shall. But first, your testimony. What happened next? We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us.
Hold it!
Do you think that's something we could do? Josh Scott! Hey George, thank you for streaming today. Work was stressful. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Relax and unwind and investigate some murder with me. So, in other words, you were fired at while you were at the control room door.
That is correct.
There's something not quite right about that. Yeah, I had a feeling that that might be our problem too. So, let me see if I can figure out what it is. They're very adamant about east. Maybe I can disprove that theory some way. This was discovered in a gutter that runs along the south wall of the boarding lounge. It was fired from a 10 caliber handgun. See, we've got a lot of specific directions. And I remember because Athena was like, oh, let's talk about the tops and the bottoms. Wait, what? The doors at the tops and the bottoms. And Phoenix was like, no, you should use terminology like east, south, west, and beast. And now that terminology is coming back into play here. So let's paint a picture of our figures. This was the bullet that was fired. It was found in a gutter along the south wall of the boarding lounge. Let me look at the map really quick. Not this map. Wait, where's my other map? God damn it all. Where's my map of the, Where's my map of the terrain? Oh, here it is. Okay. So, the bullet was found by, like, the gutter here. So that's clearly a contradiction, then. Because if they were shooting... If the suspect shot at Cosmos in the control room, why the fuck would the bullet... Like, I mean, Cosmos said that the bullet ricocheted, so, like, fine, it ricocheted off his body, but would it have ricocheted off his body down here? That doesn't sound correct. I think that's what we're going for. Let's see. Director Cosmos, the bullet this person fired hit you. Isn't that correct?
Yes, it was a miracle. A miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself.
Alright. Okay. John Brown! Hey George, just wanted to stop by and say that I really enjoy your videos. I've seen all your Phoenix Wright playthroughs as well as some Super Paper Mario, just starting Dual Destinies. Aw, shucks. Yes, if you guys are ever new here, say hi. Make yourselves known. I love it when people stumble across the channel. Alright, so the
bullet hit me while I was in the control room. But as the Cosmos would have it, the bullet bounced off my glorious Medal of Honor.
In that case, the bullet should have wound up somewhere around the control room door.
Okay, so Director Cosmos was in the control room to the east,
And while he was there, he was shot at by someone with a 10 caliber gun.
but the bullet hit his metal, so he was able to escape with his life. Talk about a lucky man. No wonder people think he's great.
Hey, I'm pretty lucky myself. So if he's a great man, I must be the king of the cosmos. I win almost every trial that I go into, except for that one time where I got disbarred. Alright, so that's the contradiction. I think we got this. I think we got this in the bag. So the bullet was found in the wrong place. Director Cosmos, I believe you're telling this great court a glorious lie.
A great man like me tell a lie. Have you ever heard of such a thing in all of history?
I mean, can we rewind the tape about 10 minutes? My accusations are based. They're based on the positions of the people who were in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door, and the mystery figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have traveled in this direction. However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here. This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at? Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round. Somebody throw him into a centrifuge. Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself just tell you the bullet hit his metal? Of this, there is no mistake. Yeah, but he might have been at, his position might have been wrong. He might not have been in the control room. He might have been at the south door. But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency? Of course. Wait, what? Oh, great Director Cosmos.
Yes. Is there something you'd like me to expound upon?
It's Angela! Hello, George! Came across your channel from Trials and Tribulations. I'm mostly in chat lurking a lot. Really enjoy your commentary and gameplay. Keep up the good work. Thanks! Shucks. For those of you who are lurkers, never feel pressured to chat, because I know that popping into the chat can feel awkward, but just know that it makes my day when I hear from you guys. Or comments. You can always comment on old videos, too. I'm not popular on YouTube, so I get email notifications every comment that I get. Somebody challenged me on that, And they left a comment where like, do you really get to read this? And I was like, yes, I really do. Literally, you can go to a video from like 3 years ago, leave a comment, and I'll get an email notification. You were in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south. Is that not right?
Yeah!
What are you getting at? No, isn't this what we want to get at? If we change his location, we can ruin his credibility. Use your own brain. Your head must have something other use than housing that bird's nest. Bird's nest? You know, why does everyone pick on my hair? Some of the ladies think it's quite stylish, actually. It's gotten me into a lot of fan fictions, this cut. Director Cosmos and the detective witnessed the scene from the southern door. The killer fired at them there, and that is why the bullet was found in the south. But then why lie about being in the control room? Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favorable for the prosecution. Huh? I've got a bad feeling about this. How about it, Director, if you don't tell the truth this time?
His hand.
Yeah, Director Cosmos, he does that every trial. Don't worry, it's fine. You will become but rust on my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great... Objection! Threatening the witness. This is an intimidation tactic.
Alright, I'll tell the truth, just put your sword away. You are correct. I, the great Yuri Cosmos, was looking into the room from the southern door.
What? Well, that's the complete opposite of all the testimony he's given so far. And now you have lost your possibility that a third person was in the room. I have. How do you figure? The director and the detective were near the southern door. Oh no! And the control room and the Launchpad 1 corridor are both secure doors. Oh no. Meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition. The corridor beyond was filled with smoke. The only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was with Director Cosmos' fingerprints. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? In short, there would be no escape for a third person had there been one. Oh no! My third person! They just disappeared! Like one of Trucy's magic panties!
Order! Order in my court! Director Cosmos, why did you tell such an outrageous lie?
You were covering for the defendant. Isn't that right? Objection, leading the witness.
Yes! It was for the love of men, which I have a lot of. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprit could have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was protect Solomon Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for the third person.
What a convoluted lie! Was he really covering for the defendant?
Well, it looks like we've come to a conclusion. The defense's argument, the possibility of a third person, has crumbled.
Chat, love you all to death. Please avoid too much speculation in the chat, just because I don't want any ideas popping into my head that I don't come up with myself. Thank you. No!
It's over.
Yikes. The judge is about to hand down his verdict. Alright, think, Phoenix. Alright, we gotta think carefully. This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. I need a brain blast! If a third person had no way of escaping the scene, well, what if one of the people at the scene was this third person? Wait, what? Wait. What if our whole premise here is wrong? Director Cosmos said that he and Detective Arm rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? And if that person entered the lounge, they would be the third person. Are we about to throw a dead woman under the bus?
The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for argument against these claims. I will now render my verdict.
Objection!
There it is. Wait, Your Honor! There's still one possibility.
Oh, this had better be good, Mr. Wright.
There's one and only one person who could have escaped from the scene. And that person would be the first one who arrived on the scene. Then, upon entering the boarding lounge, the second person to arrive came via the southern door. That's why the first person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them.
Very well. Let's hear more about this theory. Who's the one person who could have escaped from the boarding lounge?
Director Cosmos, I'm so sorry. We're gonna throw you under the bus, but it's only to save my client. Unless you're actually the bad guy, in which case, fuck you.
Oh, but that's... Mr. Wright! What are you claiming here?
Well, I'm claiming that he's the only person who could use the control room door, which means if he was the perpetrator, he'd be able to escape. Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witnesses could have escaped. Or only this witness could have escaped. You see, the director is the only one who has the authority to open the control room door.
But then that means...
Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness. Director Yuri Cosmos!
What?
What? Frankie, I don't understand.
I know, it's because you're a woman, babe.
Frankie, you better say I love you 100 times to me.
Order in my court! What is the meaning of this?
I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired the 2 warning shots.
I've been hit! I've been hit on the starboard side!
Captain Wright, it's a direct hit to the enemy ship, sir. A magnificent shot.
Alright, Athena, let's not play along.
Warning shots fired from the enemy ship! Prepare to intercept!
Cosmos, you have told a lie in this court again.
I've been hit again! I've been hit on the port side! The enemy has called for reinforcements!
Alright, Earth to Cosmos Control Center. Requesting permission that you ask to return to reality.
But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence.
But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar. If Director Cosmos is the third person or a Blackwell Saw, this third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun, and in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
Ha! It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us.
Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge, it only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. So therefore, the evidence on the director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. It's fabricated. Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you received from the third party should be all the proof that we need to prove that you were there in the lounge. Oh, was he hit by the other bullet? Detective Arm's bullet.
I brace for further impact.
Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge. The 38 caliber bullet, boys, because that's Detective Arms. The 38 caliber bullet found on the floor of the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. If we have that ricochet mark on the metal analyzed, I'm sure the caliber is going to match up. And if that mark proves to be from a 38 caliber bullet, it's going to prove that you're the third person who we've been looking for. Oh my god, is he actually guilty?
The bridge is destroyed. Losing altitude. All hands. Abandon ship. What if that's true? Then what about the bullets that hit the oxygen tank?
That was the 10 caliber bullet. In other words, it was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director?
Ah, no, you've got it all wrong. What? The engines have started again. It's a miracle. I'm not going down yet. Witness! Stop this at once and confess to the truth.
If you don't want the history books to say what a great man, that you as a great man were a liar,
Then you better accept your fate and tell us the truth.
A woman giving me orders. Me, a man, and the director of the Cosmos Space Center. I refuse to allow it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, then again, the Cosmos resolves around me!
God, Daddy's got such an ego.
Someone get me off this thing!
Boss, I think he's gonna be really dizzy.
Order! Stop making a mockery of my court! Will someone please stop the witness from spinning?
Boys, what is happening? My god, oh god. He doesn't look so good.
Phew. Thank goodness we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the earth.
While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running an analysis on the mark on the metal. It was made by a 38 caliber bullet, matching it with the size of Detective Arms' firearm.
Are you ready to confess the truth, witness? No! You got it all wrong. It is a misunderstanding.
Is he gonna start piling on more lies?
It looks to be that way. But no matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them, one by one. I'll make that liar tell the truth. Oh! Ew, what a weird to be continued. I'm sorry. No, okay. Interesting. So, I guess we're not done with him as a witness. It was a very abrupt kind of a finish, if you ask me, but I'm not mad about it. So we're at 1 hour in, but presumably we have another part to this trial, and I don't think we'll be able to do it in, well, I don't know, maybe it's only another hour, but still, I guess I'm gonna call it here for today. That'll be good, because doing two old man voices, the judge and Yuri Cosmos, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit more tough on my throat, because they have very throaty voices. So, I wouldn't mind playing for a little bit of a shorter period of time. Next part of the trial is also short. Alright, well, I don't know. If it's about an hour, maybe we'll do 2 1-hour streams today and tomorrow, and then we will continue further with the investigation or whatever happens next. I don't know. Regardless, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope to see you for the remainder of the trial tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm going to dip out for now, all right? Toodles, boys! Oh, and leave a like on the stream, please. It helps a lot. All right. Toodles!